What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our wild card preview and picks. As always, I have Ethan joining me here to break down this week's games. But before we get into it, hit that subscribe button down below to be entered into our giveaway at
Absolutely.
500 subscribers.
Absolutely. And a big week last week, deciding almost all of my picks were on target this week, and so were yours. But we do get into I got the regular season championship by one game,
Mhm.
and we're gonna see how it goes with the playoffs. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously last week, Jacksonville losing was probably the biggest surprise of the
Right.
weekend, and not making the playoffs after their hot start. And then I guess the Buffalo Miami game, was a big game for the seeding purposes. But th we'll jump into our locks of the week last week and another 5-0 week for you as you've been, pretty much turning it on since the month of December till now. You've been locked in winning weeks, I think all 6 weeks from the start of December. And then myself, a three
Yeah.
and two week, not awful. It's still a win in Vegas if I'm betting, whatever
Yeah.
my unit is, I'm still winning. But we'll jump into this week's picks, and this is where it gets kind of interesting. Both of us have the Chiefs at -4.5, but other than that, we're kind of going separate routes here. I like the over in the Browns Texans game. I think that's going to be a back and forth battle. Same with the Rams and Lions. I think that's going to be an over as well. I think that's going to be a 35-34 game because those
Mhm.
offenses are just designed to excel no matter who they're playing. And then I have my Packers going on the road at Dallas. It seems like that's a game that the Cowboys are going to keep close because the Cowboys in the playoffs recently haven't really put teams away when they win, and then when they lose, it's always been a close loss at home. And then
Mhm.
I'm going for Philly and Tampa under. I think this is going to be an ugly game if the Eagles don't show up. And if Tampa does win this game, I think it's going to be like a 24-10 type of victory. So I'm going that route.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of the overs on that Rams Detroit game. Just because two explosive offenses going to be able to showcase it in the turf building, so that's critical. And so for my picks, I got Browns -2 at Houston. I think they're gonna win the game, and I'm gonna swallow those 2 points there. Chiefs -4.5 versus Miami. I don't think Miami's gonna come ready to go with the frigid temperatures. Steelers +10 is way too many points for Mike Tomlin in a playoff game on the road, so I'm taking the 10. And then Rams +3. I think they're going to win this game. No spoilers, but I think this is a great matchup for the Rams. And then Buccaneers +3. Also really love this matchup for the Bucks.
And that means we'll jump into our first game on NBC. You got Browns, Texans, and I'm going with the home team and the Texans here. It seems like there's one team almost every other year that has a rookie quarterback that somehow makes the playoffs. And we saw last year Trevor Lawrence, in his second year, really excel in the playoffs in that first game, coming back from that huge deficit against the Chargers. And I don't want to say it's going to be a similar type of game, but I think CJ Stroud's going to play great in this one. I know the Browns defense has been really good this year, but Stroud has also been a big surprise in what he's been doing in his rookie year. Obviously, he's the clear-cut favorite for the offensive rookie of the year, and I think he's going to show his talent why he's going to win that award.
I really like the Browns in this game because, well, the first game you saw Amari Cooper. This needs to happen. Amari Cooper needs to go off this week in order for this offense to really get rolling. And I think it's going to happen. And CJ Stroud is a difference maker, no doubt, from the first matchup with him absent.
Mhm.
Uh, so no doubt there. Houston has a good shot of winning this game, but I really like Cleveland's defense, and with the way Joe Flacco's been moving the ball down the field with an extra week of rest, I got to roll with the Browns here.
And then exclusively on Peacock, you have the Dolphins and the Chiefs, and Roger Goodell making the Swifties pay for Peacock is a power move by him.
What
And
a joke.
gotta earn more money, money grab yet again. And in that case, I am going with the Chiefs at home. And I think my sixth bet, my lock of the week, would have been the under in this game because it's supposed to be one of the coldest playoff games in NFL history. And in that case, it's going to be a running the ball game. And if the Chiefs win this game, that means it's going to be a 14-13, 14-10 type of game. I don't really see both of these teams lighting it up through the air if it is windy. And we saw what the Dolphins have been doing these last, what, month or two against
Yeah, they've just
teams
been choking.
above 500. They've been struggling, and it's just a tough matchup for the Dolphins. And they've already lost once to the Chiefs in London. So give me the Chiefs here at home at Arrowhead.
Yeah, and they lost that game in a neutral site game. So coming into KC with all the momentum that they've lost in freezing cold temperatures, I think the only guy on that roster that's ready for that is Tyreek Hill. I know the Dolphins are hearing this. Everyone's saying it that it's too cold. They're not going to be ready to play. So if they do come ready to play, and this really could turn out to be a dogfight, but I do like the Chiefs at -4.5 here.
Then moving to Sunday on CBS primetime, you got your Steelers going on the road to face Buffalo. And if you'd have told me, I would say not even a month ago, 3 weeks ago, that Buffalo would be the 2 seed hosting a playoff game, I probably would have called you crazy just because of everything that had to go their way. And here they are, the 2 seed, getting that home playoff game. And this team's rolling. They've won 5 in a row. And obviously, I'm going with the Bills here. It's tough. It's a tough pick for me because I'm not that big of a Bills fan here. And I had this team going 9-8, not making the playoffs. But you got to give credit where credit's due and admit when you're wrong. And this Bills team found it when they needed to most. And I think they'll be moving on to the divisional round because Josh Allen will play good enough, but he's got to limit those turnovers if this team really wants to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm going with the Steelers. We're waving the terrible towels this week. Big upset alert here. Obviously, I already said the spread's too big, but I'm taking the Steelers as well. I know TJ Watt's absent, but very cold weather, and Josh Allen has shown great flashes in the playoffs, and he's also seen really bad flashes. So I'm expecting a very ugly game from both sides, and I think Mason Rudolph gives them the juice that they need to win a playoff game here on the road in Buffalo.
And then at 4:25 on Fox, prime time, you get my Packers going on the road to face Dallas. And to my surprise, we are both taking the Packers in the upset here.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I'm taking the Packers based off of stats that I've seen since 2010. We're 8-1 against the Cowboys, no matter what venue. And the last time we played the Cowboys in the playoffs was Aaron Rodgers throwing that dot to Jared Cook to set up a Mason Crosby field goal to win it. Just, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. And, now it's a new reign in Green Bay with Jordan Love taking over and right behind Dak for second place in passing touchdowns in the NFL this year. And you got to give flowers, even if you're a Jordan Love hater or a doubter. He's put on this
Oh
year for
yeah.
Green Bay, willed this team to 9-8 with second year and rookie wide receivers and tight ends. And it really, obviously, as a Packers fan, it's exciting to see this team make the playoffs because they exceeded my personal expectations. And if we can get this win, then no matter what happens after that, it's a W for this season. But I'm going to talk about the Cowboys because I know you're going to talk about the Packers too. These
Hmm.
Cowboys team, this is probably the best team they're going to have to win a Super Bowl that they've had since I think Dak's been there, honestly. CD's been balling out. He's a top two receiver, and he's not two, in my opinion, in the NFL. I think he's the top dog. Then you
Okay.
have Pollard. If this team can figure out how to run the ball and get Pollard involved all the time, I mean, this Cowboys offense is dynamic enough where it's going to be tough to stop. But Micah Parsons is going to be the key in this game. If he can get to Love early and often, it's going to be a tough day for my pack on the road. And I can see Dallas winning that way because their corners are aggressive and they're not afraid to, play that aggressive route and go intercept a pass. And if that's the case, if Parsons can get home early, then I can see the Cowboys winning this one.
And obviously, on paper, I would say the Cowboys are the better team. Obviously, because of the spread, it tells you everything. But I also like Green Bay in this spot because they're playing with house money. Like you said, the Packers are just happy to be here. So like
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. They're out here. They're gonna play their hardest, and the Cowboys have a lot of pressure on them with, like you said, the Super Bowl roster. And not even to say the Cowboys are prone to choking in the playoffs. I really do I like the Packers in this game. It could also be a blowout. It just depends. If Dallas starts out and they get up 14-0, I think they're gonna roll. Yeah, but Green Bay, if they keep it close and this is close all the way throughout, Green Bay's got a shot for sure.
And then after that one on Sunday Night Football on NBC, probably the best matchup that you could have scripted at all in the NFL because Stafford gets to go home, face the Lions, and Goff gets to get revenge on the Rams because of that trade just 2 years ago. It's the first time they've seen each other. And what better time when the Lions host their first playoff game in what, 30 years? And the Rams get to go back and possibly ruin that. And Stafford gets to get his, I guess, revenge, even though they're on good terms. And it's tough for me to not pick the Lions just because it seems like they're on that path to at least moving on in the playoffs. Destiny is just one of those things that I think happens in the NFL. There's a team every year that it just seems like this team is just on a path to an NFC or AFC championship. And I think that's the Lions for me. It's hard for me to admit, obviously being a Packers fan, but
Mhm.
this Lions
Of course.
team, I've said it a few weeks ago when they lost to Dallas and, they got screwed, I guess you want to say, in that 2-point conversion that, they
Yeah.
want the Lions to win, but the Lions team is very good and they're putting themselves in positions to win the game. And compared to the last however long you want to say decade, the Lions haven't done that. And this is the year where I think, those Lions fans can say it's a Super Bowl or bust at this point.
Yeah, and I know a lot of Lions fans that are just so excited for this game, and I feel bad here because I do like the Lions, but if I'm going on who I think's going to win this game, I think it's the Rams. And I mean, they've just been playing one of the best football brands of football the last second half of the year.
Hmm.
Kyron Williams been running like a horse. He's running like a madman. And they got Puka Nacua, who's been balling out, and then obviously Cup and Stafford just being the ringleader to all of it. So this offense is going to put up fireworks, and I think they're going to be able to put pressure on Goff to make a mistake here or there. And I do think this is going to be the over type of matchup, and the Rams are going to win it in crazy fashion, maybe just like the Dallas game.
And then our last game, Monday Night Football on ESPN. You got the Eagles going on the road to face the Bucks, and I think if you would have said the Eagles are on the road to face the Bucks when they were 10-1, I think, oh, you must have said, oh, well, Dallas must have just ran the division, won out, and won that by, tiebreaker. But that's not the case here. The Eagles 1-5 since that 10-1 start. Really don't know what Eagles team we're gonna get here. And I don't want to say it, but the safe bet is to pick Tampa. Just because we know what we're going to get out of Tampa. If they can score, I think 17 or more, they're going to win this game. Just because they're the more consistent team right now heading into the playoffs. Their defense is going to be good, not great, but I think they can hold the Eagles offense in check. And who knows if Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, and some key pieces on defense are even playing because they've had some injuries these last few weeks. Hurts had a messed up finger last week, and it's just not looking good right now for the Eagles. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles are that team that somehow puts all that hate and the doubt to the side
Yeah.
and just runs the table.
Yeah, and as you say that, like I don't really like Tampa Bay in this spot either. I mean, the Eagles do have the worst passing defense in the league and can't move the ball right now offensively and are totally inconsistent. But the Bucks just scored 9 points against Carolina, and I know their secondary is good, but that was a big game, and they were two calls away from losing that game and being out of the playoffs. And then before that, they got blown out by New Orleans. So Tampa Bay is not playing great either. The reason why I'm taking Bucks is just they're playing more consistent, and we don't know about Devontae Smith or AJ Brown's if they're going to play or not. Mike Evans is going to be there and he's going to be balling out. Same with Godwin. So if Baker can stay healthy and stay upright, then I definitely like the Bucks in this spot.
That's going to be it for our wild card preview and picks. Check back next week to see how we did on these 6 games, and we'll break down all the divisional games as well. But until the next time, bench buddies are out.